Hello. So today we're going to be doing a lot of rotation, twisting, an essential movement that we don't put the body through enough. So we're going to use the ball just a little bit today. We're going to use that just a little bit today. Okay, I'm going to tie my hair back so that's going to get in the way. Okay, so we're going to start off on hands and knees. So it's going to mobilise the spine first. So just by tucking the chin down and lengthen your spine up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to scoop out and you're going to arch the back, you're going to push your belly button down, relax the shoulders away from your ears. Tuck your chin down, lengthen your spine, really feel it opening up through the vertebra of your spine. Scooping out, arching the back. Again, head down and lengthen. Scooping out, arching the back. And then just one more, lengthening up, flatten the feet and sit your hips back to heels, stretch your arms forward to child pose. And then come back up to hands and knees. Going to bring just one arm out to the side, just look out to the hands. We're not going to over twist to start with, and that hand is going to come through underneath and then open up wide again. Just look out to the hands, just a little bit of light rotation as you warm up. So you're just mobilising the spine. So you're just scraping the back of the hand on the floor. And wide, through, and wide, and through, and wide, and through, and wide. One more. And wide. And then just bring that hand all the way through, bring the shoulder down to the floor. Look through to the hand that's underneath you. Come back to the centre. Okay, same on the other side. Bring the arm to the side, look at the hand, bring the hand through, and wide. Bring the hand through, and wide. Bring the hand through, and wide, through, and wide, through, and wide. And this time come all the way through, bring the shoulder down. If you can, also rest the ear down towards the floor. And back to the centre. If you can, just cross your ankles over as you roll yourself back. You're going to end up sitting tall with your legs crossed. Again, as before, you can sit with your feet in front of you if you'd rather, and you can sit with yoga block or a cushion underneath your hips. So with your hands out to the side, little side stretch, reach over to the side, lift the arm up and over to the side. Hold the stretch, reach over again, back to the centre, the other side, reaching over. Release slightly and reach over again and hold. And back to the centre, and then bring one hand behind you and look round over your shoulder, sitting tall. And to the centre, same on the other side, looking around behind you. Remember, your legs can be in front of you if it's not comfortable with your legs crossed. And then come back to the centre. Okay, with your feet in front of you now. So you're going to sit tall, your feet and knees are going to be hip width apart. So when you've got a scrunchie on your hair and your hair's conditioned, they do fall out a little bit. Okay. So arms in front, drop your shoulders down, tuck your chin down, just lower yourself back and just a little bit of a twist, just gently with the elbow to the side. So still working on mobilising, twist, centre, twist, and centre. So you bring your thumb in towards your waist as you lower, and centre if you can with the elbow all the way down, and centre, side, centre, side, and centre, side, and centre. Just slowly rotating as you lower. Okay, so one more to each side. Last one. Back to the centre, lengthen both legs, take a little stretch forward, try and lengthen out through your spine. And release, and then to reach for your ball. Again, bend the knees. So your feet and knees are going to be hip width apart, and the ball is going to be between the hands. We're not gripping it with the fingers, not yet. It's just light between the palms of the hands. You're going to tuck your chin down. You're going to just gently squeeze into the ball. Just feel that transition through to your core as you squeeze and release. The shoulders are down, we haven't got the shoulders hunched up. You're going to squeeze, twist on the next one and tall. So you're going to squeeze and you're going to bring the ball over to the floor, to the centre, and then to the other side. To the centre. So lower as you rotate. Centre. Don't go any further than you feel comfortable with. You can slowly increase the range with each repetition if you feel you can. And twist to the side, to the centre, twist to the side, to the centre, to the side, to the centre. Stay looking at the ball so your upper body's twisting around with the arm. And to the centre. Okay, and then come down halfway, keep the ball in the middle to start with, stay lowered. The ball is above your thighs. You're going to take the ball from side to side and you're going to stay lower. So try and twist from the waist and not just the arms coming around without the rotation. Control, it's quite tough to stay controlled and lowered. Side to side, side to side, side to side, side to side. Come back to the centre, have a little stretch again as you reach forward to your toes. Give it back, a stretch out, reaching forward. And then roll back up. Keep the legs straight this time. Again, shoulders down with the ball in front of you. Now you're going to grip the ball into one hand. The other hand is going to let go and you're going to draw the elbow back, thumb in towards your armpit, straighten the arm out, reach behind you and then sweep around to the front and roll up tall. So the other side, elbow back, thumb to your armpit, straighten the arm, sweep around to the ball. You're going to alternate sides, lower, reach, sweeping to the centre, twist elbow back, straighten, sweep around to the front, elbow back, straighten and sweep, elbow back, straighten, sweep around, elbow back, sweep around, elbow back, straighten and sweep around, elbow back, straighten, sweep around, down, straighten, sweep around. One more to each side and centre, last one. And back to the centre and stretch forward to your toes. And roll back up. Okay, pop the ball between your knees. And then with your hands behind you, you're going to come down to your elbows and lift your feet up. Okay, so feet are in the centre at the moment. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to lengthen your legs out, but slightly to the side. And back to the centre. Straighten and lengthen to the other side. And to the centre. So that imaginary clock in front of you, your legs are coming across to about 2 o'clock. Back to the centre, the other side to 10 o'clock. And centre. And you can do this without the ball between the knees if you'd rather. And you can do it laying onto your back rather than propped up onto your elbows. And lengthen out and centre, lengthen and centre, lengthen, centre, lengthen and centre, lengthen and centre, lengthen and centre. Okay, one more to each side if you can. Take a rest anytime if you need to. And last one. And back to the centre. Bring the feet down, lengthen the legs, rolling up, open across the chest as you look upwards. And release. You can have a little spine stretch in between the here now and the next one. So if you pop the ball between your knees and both hands on the ball, you're going to roll gently forward. And roll back up again. Rolling gently forward. And roll back up. Roll gently forward and roll back up. Rolling forward and rolling up. Each time you should be able to go a little bit further forward. You should feel equal stretch through your spine and through hamstrings. And roll back up. Rolling forward. Just put a little bit of pressure down onto the ball to help engage the core. Just one more, rolling forward. And roll back up again. Lost my scrunchie again, haven't I? Pop the ball between your ankles. I'm going to forget the scrunchie. Okay, bring the feet in. So the ball is going to be between your ankle bones. Hands under your knees and roll yourself down onto your back. And you're going to hug your knees into your chest. You're going to just gently rock the knees back and forth. So give your lower back a little massage into the floor. And then release your knees. Bring your arms down by your side and then bring your arms out wider. Don't have to be quite level with the shoulder, but certainly wide enough to stabilise the shoulders. So the easier option here is you can do this with your knees bent. Your thighs are going to circle around. So just gently circling around with the thighs, keeping your shoulders and arms firm onto the floor. If you feel you can, straighten your legs. It's a little bit easier to gauge the movement when your legs are straight, really, because you can imagine drawing a spiral in the air with the toes. So that circle is going to slowly increase. So imagine drawing a spiral each time you come around. The circle is a little bit bigger. Around, around. Try and breathe and control in time with the circle. And try not to let the momentum just carry the legs around, but controlled all the way around. So bigger circles around. And then come back to the centre. And then we're going to start again, but round the other way. So make sure the shoulders are still down away from your ears. Palms are flat onto the floor. Your elbows and shoulders are glued into the ground. That circle is going to slowly get bigger. And bigger. And bigger. If you feel your shoulders start to lift, either engage the core just a little bit more to help stabilise, or just don't take the legs quite so wide around to make it a slightly smaller circle. Around, 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 and back to the centre. Hug your knees into your chest. Take the ball away and bring the feet down to the floor. Going to slide out your left leg and then bring your right knee across with your left hand onto the knee and look away from the knee. So the stretch is going from the knee on the outside of your thigh to your hip into your lower back, all the way to the opposite shoulder. That can lead a really nice stretch. Just try and relax into the stretch. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, bring the knee down lower towards the floor. As you give the glute a little stretch out. Back to the centre, changing sides. So the knee's going to come across the body to the opposite side and look away from the knee. So again, that stretch going all the way through the hip, the lower back, all the way to the shoulder, really. Take a deep breath in, and on the out breath, just push that knee slightly lower, away from the hips. And come back to the centre and hug both knees in towards you, lifting your tailbone off the floor. Rock your knees gently back and forth. Then bring both feet down to the floor. And they're going to come over onto your side. You can just do a couple each side with some side planks onto your elbow. The top leg is going to be straight, so the lower leg is bent. So your hand is going to be onto your thigh. Your shoulders are stacked all the way up to the ceiling, and the same with the hips. We're not leaning forward at all. And they're going to lift your hips up and lower down again. Lift the hips up and lower down. Lifting up, lower down. And you're going to lift and hold it down. Lift that arm up, looking up to the hand, and that top hand's going to come through underneath, so as we did earlier with a thread needle, but a nice full range this time, really opening across the chest, reaching through. Most of us get quite tight across the chest, particularly sitting at a desk or driving. Reaching through and wide, reaching through and wide, reaching through and wide. One more. Just hold that stretch wide and then lower the hips down. Change your legs, so one leg has the shin from knee to ankle across the mat, and the other foot is tucked in, so the heel is tucked in to your groin. And you bring one hand to the side, you're going to come down to elbow, and you're going to stretch over to the side. Come back to the centre, bring the hand to the cross, just to the hand, and reaching over. Come back down to the elbow, reaching over. Back and hand, reaching over. Down to the elbow, reach over. To the hand, stretching over. Reach, centre and over, and last one, reaching over and big stretch, and then come over to the other side. Excuse my squeaky mat, it's very, very non-slip, whichever you want to call it. Elbow tucked underneath, lower leg is bent and your top leg is straight, and again your hips and shoulders are stacked up, we're not leaning forward, we're not leaning back. You're going to lift the hips up, so keep those ribs lined up with the hips and down. Shoulders are wide, so think about being wide across the collarbone and down, lifting up and down, lifting up and hold, lift that top arm, look up to the hand and bring that top hand through, underneath and wide. You could do this on your hand if you wish, a little bit harder on the hand. It's a slightly easier option for you today. And wide, reaching through, and wide, reaching through, and wide, reaching through, and wide, through, and wide. One more. Wide, really open across the chest, just hold that stretch, and then lower your hips down. And again, turn the legs, so the knee is on one edge of the mat, the foot is on the other edge of the mat, and your heel is tucked in towards the groin. Bring your hand down to the side, reaching up and over, come down to the elbow, back over, stretch over, and down to elbow. Sometimes the knees don't really like sitting like this, so you can modify it by sitting with your legs crossed onto a cushion, just stretching from side to side. If it's a little bit easier on the knees, reaching over and stretch, reaching over and stretch, reaching over and back, reaching over, hold the stretch and centre and reaching over and come back to the centre. We're all done. Have a lovely day.